Greetings, bonjour. We pray that all is well. This morning, we're here at our church office, our study here, and we spent quite a bit of time talking with Pasteur St. Yesterday evening, and I just wanted to give you all an update. Most of you recall how that Pastor St. and his family, and I'm talking about his children, his grandchildren, maybe even some great-grandchildren, they had to flee for their lives just weeks ago, a few months back. And many of you all had taken up prayer need upon yourselves, and some of you have given sacrificially to help Pastor St. Luke. Pastor St. Luke's been here in the States with us. If you've ever met Pastor St. Luke, you would love Pastor St. Luke. He's just that kind of a fella. You just love him. He just got that personality. He just loves everybody. And he's founded us in his family. But Pastor St. Luke is our national director in Haiti. He's over all of it. Right now, I think, we're at 20 churches now. It changes from time to time, and now he has a new church where he's relocated in Cape Haitian. But what I wanted to share with you, first of all, most of you are familiar with the story, how the gangs come into his area where he lived in the village of La Bastille Mibale, and they had to flee. I mean, with the clothes on their back, they had to flee. And Pastor St. Luke was not in the best of health, and I mean, we're talking just with the clothes on their back and going through the cane fields. They've had to cross rivers, especially the great Grand Bucancari, a pretty good sized river. They had to cross all that. They finally made it far enough north. They got away from the gangs, and they was able to obtain a ride on a flatbed truck on into Cape Haitian in the far north. Cape Haitian is a safe haven. They have a large presence of national police. They have foreign help there as security as well, and from other countries, and so it's a safe haven. Some of the business people from Port-au-Prince and other folks from Port-au-Prince migrated to Cape Haitian. That at one time was the capital of Haiti in the history of Haiti, but nevertheless they went there to seek safe haven, and that's where they're at. That's the only place I know of that planes are actually flying in and out of, and that is Cape Haitian. Commercial flights do not fly into Port-au-Prince, maybe a military craft, maybe perhaps, but for the most part they avoid Port-au-Prince. The gangs were even shooting at commercial airlines at one point. So I don't want to focus on the gangs and the anarchy and all that. What I want to share with you right now is Pastor St. Luke. We were able to rent a house, or we was able to help out with that, to rent a house for a whole year. He's got 30-some people living with him in that house, by the way. And but Pastor St. Luke just in this past week has been able to obtain some property. He purchased some property, and he owes some money on it yet, but he purchased property. Now, they don't measure property in acres like we do here in the United States of America. It's all metric, and it's in French. Beside that, it's called a carreau. And for the life of me, I don't, right now, I used to know, but I've sort of forgot that the equation of the difference between an acre and a carreau. It don't matter about any of that. It's a good little piece of land, plenty enough. And now, by faith, he's trusting the good Lord in heaven and God's people that the Lord might put it on their heart. He can have income coming in to where they can build a simple little house. And I want to say this quickly. We work with a lot of pastors now for about 40 years in Haiti, and I can tell you that there are some that we have seen come to the United States to go back with a pocket full of money, and instead of putting it in the gospel ministry, they're buying a vehicle, they're building a house even beyond what they really need, just so on and so forth. I'll leave it at that. Of course, we got crooks here in America too that make merchandise out of the church and the house of worship, God's people. We know and understand that. And But Pastor St. Luke's not like that. He puts everything into ministry. He builds churches. He's built, I'm thinking 12 to 13 churches just outright from scratch. He's obtained support from the states. People sent in and they build the church. He encourages the local people to do everything that they can do, and they build these churches. And we're talking about anywhere from 40 to 80 feet in dimensions, 50 to 100 feet in dimensions, large but simple. Dirt floors a lot of times, or a very inexpensive cement top floor, nothing fancy by any means. That way, of course, to put the mud and all that during rainy season especially, so it's needful to do that. They come up, they make their own block, they go up with block walls, and they get 10, usually it comes out of the Dominican Republic, and most expensive part of the whole venture probably is the wood for the rafters. Wood, lumber is a commodity in Haiti, and it's very, very costly. But anyway, that's the Lord has helped Pastor Luke, and we've been blessed to be part of that as well. As I said earlier, he is our national pastor, and we have a couple churches down in the south that we built totally through God's people down that way. But I'll leave all that alone. Right now, the need right now is Pasteur St. Luke is trying to develop this property, and we're trusting the good Lord in heaven that and God's people that they'll pray, and if they're able to give and would like to give to the cause, please do so. And I would ask you, we do have other projects. We have the feeding programs, which is actually our biggest challenge we have, because every single week we go to the MoneyGram office in Chiefland, and we wire money every single week. And it's only by your help and grace and prayer and giving, sacrificial giving, that we're able to do that. And that's what we do. But if you feel in your heart and you'd like to help Pastor St. Luke out and to rebuild, he wants to build a church and a small dwelling there on that place. And I mentioned earlier in La Bastille Ballet, Pastor St. Luke could have built a really nice big house. He did not. Very simple dwelling. I've slept there many a time. I've had others come to Haiti with me that slept there as well in that little house. And just a simple dwelling, nothing extravagant. And that's how Pastor St. Luke is. He's like Abraham of old. Abraham had the means in his day, but he was a tent dweller. And he didn't go down into Sodom like Lot did, but he was satisfied being on the mountain and living in tents. And because he had his eyes on the heavenly, whose builder and maker is the Lord. And Pastor St. Luke, I can say the same thing about Pastor St. Luke. He puts it into ministry. I want you to understand this. Pastor St. Luke had nearly 40 years of ministry, 38 years, 39 years, I don't know, of accumulation and blessing. And he had just completed a second stage in his church at La Bastille Ballet when the gangs come in. They had a full band there of music. They had a PA system. They run off of a generator, including the generator. They had instruments of all sorts where people over the years have contributed and donated. Guitars, bass guitars, electric guitars, banjo. I mean, to tell you, they were, and his family and his boys, his sons, and those in the church were very musically inclined, and I mean, they had it going on there, believe me. But when the gangs come in, they destroyed, they stole all that, they cleaned it all out. He had a vehicle, he had two vehicles actually, one was broke down, but he had a couple vehicles, he had a couple motorbikes. Let me say something about the motorbikes. You can buy them dirt cheap down there. They come straight out of China, and they're Chinese, they're cheap made, but you can buy a brand spanking new one, a 150cc for like $1,000 US, 800,000, depends on what you get. But he had churches in the States that over the years blessed him that he was able to have those vehicles and motorbikes where it made it easier and better to travel in the gospel ministry there. It was a blessing. But he's lost all that. He don't have nothing now. They're back to scratch after all these years, a whole lifetime of ministry and blessings from the Lord. It's just all gone. The gangs come in, they either burned it, destroyed it, or they took it. And so he's starting all over again, completely from scratch. But he's not discouraged. I was talking to him on the phone. Pastor Luke said, well, we're going to live poorly. He said, but that's okay. We're going to build a church right here. We're going to build another church and a little place that they have a roof over their head to protect them from the sun and the elements. And that's Pastor St. Luke. I'm telling you, this man's a real deal. He loves the Lord. Those of you that have met him and know him, from him being here in Florida and other places in the States, you just know what I'm talking about here. And so, now he doesn't have a visa right now. His visa to come to America has been expired for quite some time. They're only good for so long, and because of all the anarchy in Haiti and all the sanctions that's been implemented as far as travel and renewing visas and things like that, we don't know if he'll even ever get it renewed. Only God in heaven is able to work that out, and Haiti's in total anarchy right now. It's terrible. But that's not what this video is about. I'm just sharing with you, giving you an update on Pastor St. Luke. He's zealous for the Lord. He was in a hospital here a while back. He really needs to be treated in a hospital in America where they have proper means of procedures to fix his arteries and such. And it's just by the good Lord in heaven that he's able to do what he's doing and be active as he is. When I talked to him yesterday, we done a little bit of, I guess you call that FaceTime, but we use WhatsApp on our phone. And the signal kept coming and going. It wasn't too good, but occasionally I'd see him on video back and forth. And he's in his work clothes out there with a ball cap and his work clothes, and they're out there clearing that property that they just purchased, and the ministry. And so that's Pastor St. Luke for you. And so I just wanted to give you an update. I wanted to share with y'all an update with Pastor St. Luke. If you do feel in your heart to help out with Pastor St. Luke, then please mark your support, Pastor St. Luke. Don't just put Haiti on there, but Pastor St. Luke. And that's what we would ask you to do. And meanwhile, please pray for Pastor St. Luke. Pray for the ministry there. God has given us some wonderful directors. We've been working there a long time, and we have people that we trust that are reputable. And God bless you. And we're just doing what we can. As Jesus said, occupy till I come. And that's what we're trying to do by the help of the good Lord in heaven. God bless you. Until next time, this is Pastor Raymond Bideau. Amen. God bless you.